Hey guys, welcome back to my playthrough here on Absolute Victory. Sorry I've been absent for a few days. My kids ended up getting sick and they passed it around to the rest of us and it just knocked us out there for a little while. So, it held me up. I'm back to it though. I'm hoping to keep cranking out the videos as fast and as best as I can. I switched back to my original camera because I'm hoping combined with the new program that I'm using that it'll have the better resolution for you guys. If it doesn't do it in the right resolution, I'll go back to the other camera I was using, but that one I have to film in segments and it's a little harder to upload. So I'm still working with it. Like I said this whole time, I'm new to YouTube, I'm new to Wargame, I'm new to all this crap. So I'm doing the best I can, but I like the game and I want it to get a little more publicity than it has. It's actually kind of neat. I saw the designer of the game had commented on it and thanked me for doing the videos. You're welcome, by the way. Great job on the game. I love it. You know, it's awesome. It's massive. It's really cool. It's taken up a lot of my time. My wife loves it. I leave her alone a lot more than I used to. But I know the video quality's not the best. I'm doing what I can to improve it as I go along. I wanted to show you guys a couple of neat things here real quick. I got a counter clipper. Let me see if I can show this to you. Alright. See, there's an example of one and one that I've clipped. So you're going to notice the counters are starting to have nicer rounded edges. And if you're interested, it is one of these little doohickeys right here. Alright. It's a laminate corner rounder and they're 2 millimeters is the size that I'm using. I really like it so far. You can get them on Amazon. There's one that's a little cheaper and one that's a little more expensive. If I had it to do over again, I would have got the more expensive one that's about $50 because I saw a video of that one and I like it better than this one. They both work, so there's no problem with either. I just think the other one's a little easier to use when it comes to counters than this one is. See, I'll show you guys. You just take your little counter here and let's turn this over and you just stick it in there and then when you clip on it, it rounds the edges off. Makes them look neater. I mean, not everyone's into it, but I am. So, and something else that I goofed on, you can see here the counter that I have up is one of Spain's counters. It's got that little triangle on the top of it. That little triangle means that you can't move the unit out of its home country. I didn't realize that when I first started. So over here, get my finger out of it. My original plan was to take and have Spain push south and go into Algeria with Italy. And yeah, that's not going to work. I did already have them take over Portugal, and since I already had them do it, I'm not going to bother trying to go back on that. I'm just going to leave them in charge of Portugal as is. I did have a few minor things left to finish in that theater of the game. I went ahead and just finished them off camera as well as doing a few events. If you look up there in England, you'll see some Polish units, the white units there. They were created due to an event that gave England some Polish units and aircraft, and it's just to represent the Polish exiles that went to help fight in the rest of World War II on throughout the war. And I don't think there's much else that happened over there. Oh, if you look there, I did have the Italian units. I need to put a marker on that real quick before I forget to show them as flipped. I can do that. Right. Just like that. The ones I just put the marker on there, they did take over that surrender city in the north part of Algeria. I think that's Algeria. So there's only a few French ones left. The next turn will be into the 1940s, so I'll be able to take and start going into France proper. I'm still deciding how I'm going to handle that aspect of the war. I'm still trying to keep Russia neutral as long as possible. They've got a lot of units, but they're weaker than the German units, but right now they outnumber me, so I'll just have to see how I'm going to end up handling that. If you guys remember, In the previous turn, the KMT units, the Chinese units, ended up going pro-Japan. So all these red ones here are pro-Japan. The gold ones are the warlords, and they're still pro-UN, pro-Chinese, whatever it is. These random countries off over here, Nepal and Tibet and whatever one that one is, they're pro-UN. The communist Chinese here, the red guys, they're also pro-UN. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is have a combination of these Chinese and Japanese units, just try to wipe out everything over here, take all of China, get rid of those little warlord units, get rid of these communists, and just own all of this. Maybe take over some of these other smaller countries before the U.S. enters the war, because that's still a little ways off. I can't remember. I think the U.S. might have had one roll for entry event that they failed, so they're still not in it. I'm trying to keep the U.S. out of the war until Pearl Harbor. One, just to have it go historical, and two, it affects the U.S. elections, because popularity goes against the U.S. president if he voluntarily starts the war, basically. A few other things I think I mentioned. Australia's in the war now. Canada's in the war. And are there any others that have joined? South Africa joined the war. They're in it. Most of them are all on the pro-UN side. I don't think anyone else joined the Axis that you guys haven't already seen yet. Admiral Cunningham joined. He's at Malta now. He's a British admiral, if you're using that. One other thing I was told in one of the comments was to use the rail rules, because it changes up everything when you start going into Russia there with the German units, and it affects the gameplay in a significant fashion. I'm going to take and look back over the rail rules, get a good grip of them. It's probably not going to affect me for another so many turns, which is going to be so many videos as it is anyway. These turns take forever. So it's not really going to matter at this point, but I'll look into it and see if I'm going to have that rule in effect. All the special rules I am using, I don't think I'm diving too much into the oil situation yet as far as supply goes. I might add that in further into the game. I mean, I've got a lot of turns ahead of me when I've got a better grasp. Like I've said, I'm new to wargaming, I'm new to this, so I want to try to keep a good focus and make sure I'm explaining it as best I can to you guys, because I know some of you guys are watching it trying to learn it just like I am. Just so you know, since I'm doing it solo and filming it, and there's time in between the cuts, sometimes I might goof. I'm sure I did watching some of the previous videos I put up, and do a pulse for the same side 2 times in a row by accident. Like I might do Germany 2 times and then a British unit 2 times, just by accident. That's going to happen. Y'all just bear with me. I'll try to mitigate those as much as possible, but occasionally I'm going to have accidents happen. Alright, so I'm trying to remember where it was. I think some of these units have been moved. I can't remember because it's been so long since I played it. I swear something over here is supposed to be flipped, but I might not have marked it. So we're just going to play from the current board state as is. And if I goof, it's fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just Chinese, and hell, they got plenty of them. So where are we going to start with here? I do have, like I said, 2 events left that I'll do at the end of the video. I'll do at least one of them on camera for you guys to see. Let's see. I know I'm going to have these guys push and start taking out some of those, but that's a minor battle, and I don't want to record that because it's just a single garrison unit. I'll probably do that off camera and show you guys the results of it afterwards. Let's have this big stack of Japanese units attack these communist units here, and they'll have 2 flanking bonuses. You can see from having units here and the KMT units here to help them out. So yeah, let's take and set that up real quick, see if we can wipe the communists off the map. Give me a sec, I'll switch the camera down to the front. Alright, welcome down to the front. It's a little cockeyed on my camera, but it'll work for our purposes here. Alright, I went ahead and got everything set up and chose my battle plan, which is going to be frontal assault. I got that set here so I remember. Got all the Chinese communist units lined up here in the UN slot. There is one reserve Japanese tank unit because of the unit limitations. With infantry, you can only put them in spaces with a square on them, and you have to leave the space next to it blank. So you can have 6 infantry, but nothing else. So I had 6 infantry and 1 tank in the space, so I'm only allowed to have the 6 infantry there. Now, since Japan's Air Force more than likely isn't going to be too useful, this is a huge battle. Elsewhere, I decided to commit all their forces that they have available, which is 6 units, so that works out nicely. And I've got them lined up against each unit, and as I've stated before, you have to allocate 1 air unit against 1 ground unit each until you've got 1 for everybody before you're allowed to double. So this last one down here, I've just got them both set here so I know that it's doubled up, so I can try to take out this communist leader unit. Since they don't have any air units available to them to use, Russia's still neutral, so they wouldn't be able to use anything, and I don't think there's anyone else that can loan them aircraft. The Japanese aircraft will go first, so we'll go on down the line here and just see how they do. Let's see here. And grab my little red chart, and we'll get cracking at it here. Alright, first bomber unit has a rating of 2 against the fortitude of 4. So you're going to go 2 down to 4, which is 7 or better to take that unit out. Not too good at odds, but we'll see what we get here. And 0, which, if I remember correctly, air units are the only ones that are 0 counts as 0. So that is a miss, unfortunately. Next unit is 2G. 2G. Okay, that's right. With the air units, if it's a G, you get to roll 2 dice, and if either are a success, it's a success. If it's a B, you have to roll 2 dice, and both of them have to be a success. I had said that wrong in a previous video. So, for example, this air unit here, which I'll show right there, has a rating of 2B and 2G. The X actually has to do with naval battles, that it would automatically be shattered in a fight against naval units. So if it were attacking against an air unit, an air superiority fight, you would roll 2 dice, and it would have to, both of them succeed to cause a hit with that one. As that it is, since it's bombing and it's 2G, I get to roll 2 dice, and if either of them are a success, then I do it. So its ground rating is 2 against a 4, so again, it's going to be, what was that, 7? Let's take a look. Yeah, 7 or better. So let's see what we got here. All right, there we go. The 9 will do it. The other one was a 0, so that one doesn't matter. We have taken out a single PLA unit, and it is sent to the shatter box. All right, next is also 2 against 4. Another 7. It's not good, so it's just a 1. Sorry. I've got my camera on this little pod thing that holds it to try to make it steadier for you guys, but it's right in front of me, so I keep bumping the damn thing. All right, hold on. Here we go. No! 3. It's a miss. No good. Next is a 1 against a 4, so that's going to be even worse odds. Should be 8. Yeah. It's an 8 or better, so really it's 8 or 9 to take out this unit. Give me just a sec. And roll. Oh, look at that. Big boy comes through with his 8. Another Chinese unit sent to the shattered box. Alright, move that one over there. And we'll do the lower one first. It'll also be another 8 or 9 to shatter him. One that is a miss, and this one is going to be 7, 8, or 9 to take him out. And I dropped it. Bam. There it is. We got an 8 and a 4. So we did pretty well there. We shattered 3 of their units. Air power definitely has its uses. Unfortunately, though, that is all of my Japanese air power, which will get moved up here into the access used or committed box. Bam, right there. Pull that down so you can see it. Alright, now we will have the remainder of the ground fight. And I got to roll off to see what they're going to be doing. Let me roll real quick to see their defensive strategy. As I said, I already picked frontal assault. See what they're going to have. 9, which puts them in defense in depth. Alright, let's pull this over here. Show you guys. I can get on camera. So this is what we're going to be looking at here. Alright. Unfortunately, if I take any damage, I'm going to be flipping my attacking units. Our violence number is 4 and 5. So 4 for the Japanese units, 5 for the communist units. Let me get my dice added up here. 2 flanking bonus plus 12. Damn, I don't even have that many here. Hold on. Let me see if I got enough dice. It's 2. Let's see, 4, 6, 8. No, I need 2 more dice. I actually bought a bag of, you can get them on Amazon, of 10-sided dice. Let me see, actually I got the bag something here. Looks like this, comes with a little neat little holder on it and everything. And it has 5 bags of 10 each of 10-sided dice. I would highly recommend getting it because the game only comes with 2 10-sided dice. And you're going to need a lot more than that to save yourself some trouble. Alright, and the communists only get 4 dice. So, our violence number again is 4/5. The defenders will retreat if they take twice as many hits. Combat is done simultaneous, and the attackers flip on hits. So, give me a sec, let me roll here. Oh, let me check. The weather's clear, so I know that's not an issue. I don't think terrain affects it. Let me just make sure. Let's see. That is desert. Yeah, actually. Never mind. The violence number actually goes down to 3/4 because it's desert terrain and fair weather, which removes 1 from both sides. So 3/4 is our violence number. Give me a sec here. Let me roll on it. And 1 hit for them. Alright, here. This blue dice is for our communist units. And let me roll all this collection of dice. Make sure I got enough. It's 4, 4. Yep, this is enough. Oh, hear that? It's a lot of dice. Alright, and so 3, 4, so yeah, I'm looking for anything 3 or under. That. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I rolled 3 4s on these guys, on the Japanese. If I had had them, if we hadn't had that reduction, then it would have made a big difference. Okay, so unfortunately, we weren't able to wipe them completely out. Since this 2 here is for the communist units. It's going to shatter one of our Japanese units into the shatter box. And we got a total of 5 hits. 2, 2, and 1 for the attackers. You add them all together, you got 5. And since the PLA units have a fortitude of 4, that's only enough to take out 1 unit to the shattered box. Not even kill anybody. That huge fight, and they're still left. Wow. Alright, that is the end of this combat. At least I'll be able to use my tank on the next go around. Y'all give me a sec and I'll get us back down to the table. Alright guys, we're back down to the map. I did a few things off camera, like I said I was going to try to expedite the game, not make my videos last forever. Some of the UN units moved around to try to get into a more advantageous position, such as these units in Sing Kang, I think that's how it's pronounced, over here. There were some garrisoned units over in the European theater during some of the UN pulses to try to further bolster their defenses. We had some Chinese KMT units down here taking out some of the warlord units, and I realized at one point here that I had some extra KMT units, so I used them to attack over to here and take out that last communist Chinese unit that was there. So the communist Chinese have been wiped off the map at this point. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and call the turn where I'm at now, because there's not too much more that can be done at this point. There's plenty that I could do realistically, but not much that I'm wanting to do as far as strategy goes. One thing that I'm considering is these few U.S. units that are here, and there's some more over into the other Pacific Islands. I would like to start trying to garrison, add some garrison units to those spots, but I'm not sure if you're allowed to garrison, if you're allowed to garrison units on the map that in a neutral country. I think you are from what I've read in the rules, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to do it and then, be wrong and tell you guys wrong and all that crap. So I'm going to hold off on that one for now until I'm sure one way or the other. I'll look that up. I do have my kids, I guess you can hear them hollering in the background, hollering for some stuff. So what I'm going to do, so you guys aren't waiting any longer for the next video, is go ahead and stop it here. It's pretty much the end of the turn. There are a couple of events for each side left to do. I'll probably do those off camera before the start of the next turn. That way I can just start in it after I've gone through the production phase and all the other good stuff. And next turn we will be cracking into taking out the French over there in Europe. I'm definitely looking forward to doing that, because who doesn't dream about taking out France? Alright guys, appreciate you guys watching in the comments and everything. One thing you'll notice I'm never going to be asking you guys for is likes and shares and all that crap. I don't give a crap about that stuff. I'm not trying to monetize these videos. I'm not trying to become a YouTube legend or any of that. I just like the game and want others to be able to see it. So like it if you want to. Don't like it if you don't care. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. The only thing I ask is if you see anything that I'm doing wrong or could do better, or anything you guys want to make the videos better for you guys, just let me know down in the comments. Alright, y'all take care, and I'll see you in the next one.